Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 1. In my previous video, I have discussed about performance of medium transmission line by using two methods, end condenser method and nominal T method. In this video, I will discuss about nominal pi method. Now this topic is included in module 5 performance of lines of the subject power system 1. Subject code is EC-EE-502. Now in nominal pi method, capacitance of each conductor, that is line to neutral, is divided into two halves. One half being lumped at the sending end and other half at the receiving end. Just you can see in this picture, the first half is lumped at the sending end and the other half is lumped at the receiving end. Now it is obvious that capacitance at the sending end has no effect on the line drop. However, its charging current must be added to current in order to obtain the total sending current. So here IR is the load current, R is the total resistance per phase, XL is the inductive reactance per phase, C is the capacitance per phase, cos phi r is the receiving end power factor, and Vs is the sending end voltage per phase, and Is is the sending end current. Now Is first divided into IC2 and IL. Now this line current is divided into IC1 and IR. IC2 is flowing through the capacitance C by 2 and IC1 is also flowing through the receiving end capacitance C by 2. Now this is the phasor diagram of this subject. Now this is really very difficult to understand this phasor diagram over PowerPoint presentation. So I will do board work to make you understand better. Now in nominal pi method, the current the capacitance C is divided into two segments, and the sending end current is divided into two parts. First the IC2 and IL. IC2 is flowing from the first segment of capacitance C by 2 and IL is flowing through resistance and inductive reactance. Then IL is also divided into two parts, IC1 and ICR. IC1 is the current flowing through the second segment of the capacitance C by 2 and IR is flowing through the load. So in this case also we are taking VR as the reference axis, and the voltage drop across the resistance and inductive reactance is IL into R and IL into XL. So here the load current is added with the capacitive current IC1, we get the load current, the line current IL, and by adding line current with the current capacitive current IC2, we get the sending end current. So in this case VR is equals to VR plus J0 and IR is equals to IR minus phi r. Now IR, this can be written as cos phi r minus J sin phi r. IC1 is written as J omega VR C by 2 is equal to IR plus IC1. IS is equals to IL plus IC2. IS is equal to IL plus IC2 and IC2 is equals to J omega. Now IC2 is flowing through the first segment of the capacitance. So the voltage across the first segment of the capacitance is Vs C by 2. In the both case, omega can be written as 2 pi f. Now, what is the value of Vs? Vs equals to Vr plus Is into Z. R plus Jxl. I just summarize. Voltage across C is V1 equals to Vr plus Ir cos phi r minus J sin phi r into R by 2 plus Jxl by 2. Capacitive current IC is equal to J2 pi Fc into V1. Sending end current Is equal to Ir plus Ic. And sending end voltage Vs equals to V1 plus Is into Z by 2. And by putting the value of Z, we get V1 plus Is R by 2 plus Jxl by 2. Now the first problem is a 3-phase 50 Hz 150 km line has a resistance, inductive reactance and capacitive shunt admittance of 0.1 ohm, 0.5 ohm and 3 into 10 to the power minus 6 Siemens per kilometer per phase. If the line delivers 50 megawatt at 110 kV and 0.8 power factor lagging, determine the sending end voltage and current. Assume a nominal pi circuit for the line. Now total resistance per phase is equal to resistance per kilometer into total distance, that is 150 kilometer. So by multiplying 0.1 by 150 we get total resistance per phase which is equals to 15 ohm. Similarly, we get total reactance by multiplying the per kilometer reactance value with the total length, that is 75 ohm. And similarly, capacitive admittance per phase is equal to capacitive admittance per kilometer per phase into total kilometer, that is 150. So final capacitive admittance per phase is equal to 45 into 10 to the power minus 5 Siemens. Now receiving end voltage is given, that is 110 kV. So first we convert into volt, so we multiplied by 10 cube and then this is the line voltage, so we have to divide this by root 3, so we get the phase voltage which is equals to 63,508 volt. Now load current IR equals to the total power by root 3 into voltage into power factor. The total power is 50 megawatt, so we convert it to watt. Total voltage is 110 kV, so we convert it to volt, so multiply it by 10 cube and power factor is 0.8. So final value of load current is 328. Now cos phi r is 0.8, so for, by the formula cos square plus sin cos square theta plus sin square theta equals to 1, we get we can easily calculate the value of sin phi r which is equal to 0.6. Now here also we take Vr as our reference axis, so Vr equals to Vr plus J0, that is equal to 63,508 volt. Load current IR, we can write this expression of IR, and by putting the value of IR, cos phi r and sin phi r, we get the value of load current which is equals to 262.4 minus J 196.8. Now IC1 is the charging current at the load end. which is equals to VR, the voltage, receiving end voltage, that is load end voltage, into J into Y by 2, which now putting the value of VR and admittance, we get the value of this. Putting the value of VR and Y, we get the value of IC1, which is J 14.3. Next, line current. Now IL equals to IR plus IC1, we derive this expression, and by putting the value of IR, IC1, we get the final value of line current 262.4 minus J 182.5. Now what is the formula Vs? Vs equals to VR plus IL into R plus JXL. So by putting the value of VR, IL, R and XL, we can we can get the value of Vs, which is 81,131 plus J 16,942.5. Now convert this rectangular form into polar form, so we get the magnitude and angle. Magnitude is 82,881 and angle is 11 degree 47 minute, and the unit is volt. Line to line sending end voltage. Now this is the phase voltage, sending end phase voltage. Now multiplied the magnitude by root 3, so we get the line voltage, which is equal to 143.55 kV. Now IC2 is the current at the sending end, so we have to multiply Y by 2 by the sending end voltage, and putting the value of sending end voltage and Y, we get the value of IC2 minus 3.81 plus J 18.25. Now IS equals to IL plus IC2. Now put the value of IL and IC2, we get the value of IS, that is 258.6 minus J 164.25. Now convert it to polar form. 306.4 is the magnitude and angle is minus 32.4 degree. So sending end current is equal to 306.4 ampere. Next problem is a 100 kilometer long 3-phase 50 Hz transmission line has following line constants. Resistance per phase per kilometer is 0.1 ohm, reactance per phase per kilometer is 0.5 ohm, susceptance per phase per kilometer is 10 into 10 to the power minus 6 Siemens. If the line supplies the load, supplies the load of 20 megawatt at 0.9 power factor lagging at 66 kV at the receiving end, calculate by nominal pi method the sending end power factor, regulation and transmission efficiency. So total resistance per phase is equal to resistance per phase per kilometer, that is 0.1 into total length of the line, that is 100 kilometers. So total resistance per phase is 10 ohm. Similarly, total reactance is 50 ohm and total susceptance is 10 into 10 to the power minus 4 Siemens. Now this is the value of the receiving end voltage, receiving end line voltage. So we convert it into volt and divided by root 3, so we get the receiving end voltage per phase, that is equal to 38105 volt. Now IR is equal to power by root 3 VR cos phi r. Now cos phi r is 0.9, it is given, and VR is 66 kV, so we convert it to volt, and the power is 20 megawatt, so we convert it to watt, so we multiply it by 10 to the power 6, and IR is 195 ampere. Cos phi r is 0.9, so we can calculate sin phi r, that is 0.435. Now taking receiving end voltage as a reference axis, reference phasor, the VR is equal to VR plus J0. Now put the value of VR, that is 38,105 volt. Now load current IR is equal to IR into cos phi r minus J sin phi r. Now put the value of IR cos phi r and sin phi r. The final expression of IR is 176 final value of IR is 176 minus J 85. Next, similarly, the charging current at the receiving end, IC1 equal to VR J Y by 2. put the value of VR and Y, we get the IC1 is J19. And what is line current? Line current is the receiving end current, load current IR plus current through the capacitance at the load end. So by put the value of IR and IC1, the final line current is 176 minus J66. Next, sending end voltage Vs equals to VR plus IL into Z. Now Z can be written as R plus Jx. Now Z is written as R plus Jxl. So put the value VR IL R XL. We get the final value of Vs 43,165 plus J 8,140. Now convert this rectangular form into polar form. The magnitude is 43,925 and angle is 10.65 degree volt. Now sending end to line voltage. Now this is the phase voltage. So we multiplied this magnitude by √3. We get the line to line voltage, that is 76 kV. IC2 similarly, the formula of IC2 similarly. Now charging current at the sending end, IC2 is equal to VSJ Y by 2, which is equal to minus 4 plus J 21.6. By putting the value of Vs and Y, we get this value. Sending end voltage Is equals to line current plus current through the capacitance at the sending end. By put the value of IL and IC2, we get final expression 172 minus J 44.4. Now convert it into polar from 177.6 and angle is minus 14.5 degree ampere. Now theta 1 is the angle between Vs and VR and theta 2 is the angle between VR and Is. So the theta 1 is equal to 10.65 degree, theta 1 is equal to 10.65 degree and theta 2 is equals to minus 14.5 degree. Phi s equals to angle between Vs and Is, that is theta 1 plus theta 2. Now put the value of theta 2, that is 14.5 degree. Here we neglect minus term because this is just for the direction. Theta 1 is 10.65 degree. So total phi s is 25.15 degree. So cos phi s equals to 0.905 lakhs. This is the sending end power factor. Percentage voltage regulation, put the value of Vs, Vr, so we get the percentage voltage regulation, which is 15.27%. Sending end power is equal to Vs Is cos phi s. Put the value of Vs Is and cos phi s, we get the value of sending end power 21.18 megawatt, and transmission efficiency is output power by input power into 100. Output power is given 20 megawatt and input power is 21.18 into 100, that is 94%. The Ferranti effect. The Ferranti effect is a phenomena that describes the increase in voltage that occurs at the receiving end of a long transmission line relative to the voltage at the sending end. The Ferranti effect is more prevalent when the load is very small or no load. The Ferranti effect can be stated as a factor or as a percent increase. Now, what is Ferranti effect? The effect in which voltage at the receiving end of the transmission line is more than the voltage of the sending end, and this phenomena is known as Ferranti effect. Now in general we know that for all electrical system, current flows from the region of higher potential to region of lower potential to compensate the electrical potential difference that exists in the system. In all practical cases, the sending end voltage is higher than the receiving end voltage due to line losses to current flows from the source or the supply end to the load. But Sir H.J. Ferranti in the year 1890 came up with the astonishing theory about medium transmission line or long distance transmission line, suggesting that in case of light loading or no load operation of the transmission system, the receiving end voltage often increases beyond the sending end voltage and leading to the phenomena which is known as Ferranti effect in a power system. Now, a long transmission line can be considered to compose a considerable high amount of capacitance and inductance distributed across the entire length of the line. Ferranti effect occurs when current draw by the distributed capacitance of the line itself is greater than current associated with the load at the receiving end of the line during the light or no load period. Now, this capacitor charging current leads to a voltage drop across the line inductor of the transmission system, which is in phase with the sending end voltage, and this voltage drop keeps on increasing additively as we move towards the load end of the line, and subsequently the receiving end voltage tends to get larger than applied voltage, leading to the phenomena called Ferranti effect in power system. That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.